My name is Vickie and this is my daughter Jess. We've been asked to share a little bit of a journey that we went on as a family when Jess got quite ill. And through this experience, we know that we definitely experienced a miracle.
In April of 2012, I started feeling quite sick and I experienced severe back pain. I was feeling very weak. I had lost my appetite and was having a hard time breathing. So we went to the hospital and I was admitted right away. They gave me oxygen and morphine to get my vitals under control so that they could start to figure out what was going on with my lungs. They thought that maybe I had pneumonia, but they weren't sure. So due to the fact that I was having such a hard time breathing, they actually sent me up to the ICU and I was told that I was going to be put in a medically induced coma and then put on a ventilator to help me breathe. And I don't remember too much after that.
A couple of days later, we got a call saying that Jess had had a bad night and that the machine that they had at Langley Memorial was not strong enough for her to help her with her breathing, and that they had placed calls to various hospitals to see if there was a bed available for her and that we needed to come down to the hospital. Once we got to Royal Columbia, we spent time with the doctors and they were using the words puzzle and mystery. They had no idea of what they were dealing with Jess. They ran all kinds of tests and had her on all kinds of antibiotics, but nothing was helping. Each day she was just progressively getting worse. They started talking about this procedure called ECMO, but they said to us that that is a last resort. Once you choose to go down that path, there's no turning back. You can't say, oh, let's try something else. It's no, she either gets better or she doesn't. So we were really praying that God would come through and that wouldn't be a choice that we would have to make. Unfortunately, a couple of days later, we were met at the door by the doctors and they said to us that Jess's lungs had deteriorated so badly that the ventilator actually now was doing more damage and more harm than it was helping her, and that we needed straight away to get her on the ECMO. They said to us, there's nothing left medically that we can do for your daughter, and as a parent that's just going to be one of the hardest things to hear. So we gave them the okay and they wheeled her down to the operating room.
While I was in my medically induced coma, I had many different dreams, but one of the dreams I shared with my parents when I was home was that I watched the doctors wheel me down the hallway to the operating room, and I could just see this sense of urgency and seriousness on their face, and that I could tell in that moment that it was this life or death situation, and yet I also just felt so close to God in that moment and just knew that his hand was on my life and that he was in complete control, and I had such peace from that moment.
The doctors had said to us ECMO might have been a 7-day procedure, that hopefully they would start to see improvement. Unfortunately, that's not what we experienced. Each day there was no improvement. Day 6, day 9, day 13, it was just one step forward, 2 steps back. And day 19 came of being on ECMO, day 29 of being in this medically induced coma, and we were met at the door by the nurse, which never normally is a good sign, but she had a smile on her face, so we kind of thought this might be a good thing. And she called us in and the doctor was there, and he told us that Jess had started to take breaths on her own, that she was the lungs were beginning to do what they were supposed to do, exchanging the gases and oxygenating everything. And they said, we're going to take her off ECMO today. And you have no idea the joy and excitement that we felt in that moment. I remember my husband telling me a story. He walked into Jess's room and she's lying there and she's definitely got this scared, anxious face on, because to her, she has no idea of what's going on, but she mouths the word daddy to him. And the pure joy that he felt at that moment, he just knew that it'd been a miracle. And when a doctor walks in and says, how's my miracle girl? You know that that is a true statement.